Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're at a Halloween party. Now, the first most important thing about when you're going to a Halloween party or when you're at a Halloween party is what you dress up as, your costume. Costume got to be the top spot up there. It's got to be the most important thing. If you show up in a lame costume, everybody's going to know it's lame, and they're going to be like, why didn't you wear something a lot more extravagant? Sometimes the simple thing works. It's a lot, it's not as much hassle. Sometimes these costumes could be really, really out there, like with the makeup and the effects and maybe like some props, and maybe it's like, whatever. But sometimes you just got to do it. You got to go all out. You know what I mean? There's certain times where it's like, yes, I get it. You don't want to fully dress up. You want to kind of dress up. Maybe costumes aren't really your thing. Maybe it doesn't really matter. But to me, it just feels like a wasted opportunity to because you don't really do these dress-up parties all that often. I know I see some videos of people doing dress up as your favorite, dress up as your favorite meme, or dress up as your, the first letter of your name or something like that. And you have to dress up as like for me, I would dress up as an elephant or something, you don't know, right? But I rarely do those. I don't, it's let's just hang out, I don't feel the need to do those theme parties. But Halloween, it feels more special. There's something about it. You just dress up as whatever you want. There's an unexpectedness to it, which is why I think it's appropriate that you have to go all out for it. Because this is the one time of the year where it's if you get invited, you go to a party, a Halloween party, it's you got to do something cool with it, Because I've definitely dressed up as whatever, just in a regular. You dress up in regular clothes and you're just yeah, this is me. And then you try to attach it to something. That's what I did, I dressed up as, I don't know if you've ever, from the show Bob's Burgers, there's this woman, I think her name is Shelly, and she teaches this hip hop class, and it's based off of this real life woman who tries to teach hip hop, and they did a parody of it on the show, and it was really, really funny. And I was like, this is a great idea. It's not a hard work. I just wore a blue, I wore a blue sweatshirt, and I wore some sweatpants, and got my workout shoes on, and I was just yo, I teach hip hop, and I taped a QR code on my back so that people who didn't understand what I was going for, they could just scan this QR code and be like, oh, that's what you were doing. That's funny, And I really like that idea. I really like dressing up as that, as something casual, but then also kind of just if you don't know what I'm dressing up as, you can kind of QR code it. I put a QR code on my back, so I thought it was a lot more funny, and it was a little bit more creative, and I could obviously act it out for them, but once they watch the video, it's cool. So I guess dress up as whatever you want, just put some thought into it. That's all I'm trying to say. Put some thought into it. Don't just do whatever. Don't just dress up as don't just put on a suit and be yeah, I'm a businessman. That's not enough. At least put some blood on it. You know what I mean? So for me, it was really about the costume. It's about what you dress up as. It's really about having fun. At the end of the day, just having fun with what you wear, having fun and definitely, doing what you want. Like me right now, I like wearing this, and I'm definitely getting my money's worth wearing it so much, so often, especially during these episodes. So it's a lot of fun. And let me think. Yeah, it is a weird time that, because Halloween is stretched out for so long throughout the month. You can dress up and nobody's going to be, before everybody would just wait the one day of the year. But now it's no, you dress up multiple times and you go to multiple parties and you do multiple things. You have multiple costumes and ideas, and it's fresh and it's fun. And it's it's not any one thing, So when you're at a Halloween party, definitely dress up. Dress up for fun, have fun, and get your costume together. Make it something enjoyable, something that you like. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks, but if you think it's cool and if it's extravagant for you and you really like it, then yeah, that's what it's all about. And it's cool. I definitely like dressing up for Halloween at least, because I usually keep it comfortable. I don't really do what's it called? I don't do anything that's kind of that would make me feel weird. Like, I guess there are certain costumes like the blow up costumes. Like, they have those ones, which are nice, but they're not all that comfortable. Because I've worn them a few times, and it's not like, because it's air all around you, and it's like this loud thing, and it's funny, sure. It's definitely funny, but like after a while, it's kind of like, all right, it's not hitting right, I guess. Now, the other thing that's important and at a Halloween party is what you bring, because usually it's like, I would imagine it's kind of like a potluck situation where it's like you show up and you bring what you have, or whatever you can, I guess, So you have to bring something that everybody's going to like, everybody's going to enjoy, and that just fits the mood of the whole thing. So I guess like Halloween snacks, if you will. I guess candy. But then again, it's really whatever you got. So make something that you like, that you really, 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 really like. And you can share an abundance of, you know what I mean? You don't want to show up there with too much of something. Just bring something that you're good at. If it's baking, if it's brownies, bring brownies. If it's cookies, bring cookies. If it's, if you're just like, I brought a drink, or I brought chips or something like that, it's not going to be as well received. I'm telling you right now, it has to be something good. It has to be something fire. It has to be something that really catches the eye of everybody. And you could definitely decorate. You could, if you like make cupcakes, you can make them like Halloween style. You just put the frosting on there, and you make them you can make them like a ghost themed. You can make them look like bats. You can make them look like a pumpkin. That'd be cool. Put a little sauce on it. Put a little design into it, and I think what you bring is definitely important, because you don't want it to be empty, right? You don't want the whole vibe to be ruined because you're missing an element. You're missing something that's like, oh, I love these, or you're like, I really enjoy this stuff, but I don't get to, it's for special occasions, or it's maybe just a snack that you don't have enough of, or you feel like everybody's going to really enjoy it, so you bring an abundance of it. You definitely want to do that. You definitely want to bring something that's a lot of fun. And it doesn't have to be food. I'm talking about food here. It could be an activity. You could bring why am I blanking right now? I bring like these. I brought these buckets one time, and I filled them with water, and we bobbed for apples. Like, that was an activity that I thought would be fun. And I did that on multiple occasions. I did that on multiple times. And I thought that would be really, really cool. I thought it'd be very, very fun to do. So if it's not, and I guess apples are food. I mean, I'm not eating them. I'm just bobbing for them, And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was so much fun way back when. And I've done it multiple times throughout, bobbing for apples multiple times throughout the years. But it's just like, you bring something that's really going to engage with everybody and be fun and get everybody with you. And sometimes it's something as simple as that. And that's what I recommend. You don't want the party to die down. You don't want it to feel unspecial, or you don't want it to die down. You don't want it to be dead, a dead party. You want it to be alive and fun and full of life. And you do that by bringing something that you really, really like, something that's, there's also, that now I'm remembering it. It was like a Shock-tato. You ever play Shock-tato? It's like this, I mean, it's literally a little potato and it just electrocutes you. So you pass it around to everybody so that way you all play. And there's an element of scare to it because you don't know when it's going to shock you. And sometimes you can play with music, sometimes you can play without, sometimes you can play without the shock so that way everybody stays safe. And it'll just like, you know, you don't know. So it's really stuff like that gets you excited, you know. A key part to Halloween movies. I mean, not Halloween movies. What am I talking about? Halloween parties. Halloween parties, a key moment in any good Halloween party is music. You definitely want good music. Nobody wants to cry during a Halloween party. When was the last time you went to a depressing Halloween party? You don't do that. You know, Halloween parties are for fun, scary, you know, exciting times. You don't go there. You don't go there to cry. Has anybody ever gone to have you ever gone to a Halloween party and they're blasting sad music? Or maybe it's like sad lyrics with very good, with a very uplifting beat. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? You know those songs where it's like, wow, it actually sounds very uplifting and positive and good, but the lyrics are so sad and depressing. Those are one of my favorite genres of music. Of like, the lyrics are so sad and it makes me feel so sad when I listen to what they're saying. But that bass, that guitar, it's hidden. You know, it's making me feel. It's a lot of fun and it wants me to dance to it. You know, I want to dance to this song, but I also want to cry. You know, if it's that kind of music, definitely fits for Halloween. If it's just depressing, it don't fit. It don't hit right. It's not for the party. You don't want that. You want people to dance. You want people to sing along. You want it to be exciting and fun. You don't want to kill it, you know? So you have to pick the right music. You have to have a good playlist. Anybody who's having it, you have to have a good playlist. If you don't, what are we doing here? You know, what's going on? What's this all about? You never see any. You never see it. It's just bizarre. Why on earth would you put on a sad song? Why would you continuously play sad songs at a Halloween party? I can't imagine crying during a Halloween party. If you ever play sad songs at a Halloween party, why would you do that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's really odd and bizarre, you know? Unless that's the theme, I guess. Unless it's like, we're all gonna gather around for this Halloween party and cry, and we're gonna do a sad party. I really don't get it. I don't know. I've never seen it before. Maybe in a way it's kind of like maybe therapeutic, you know, you all dress up in like childhood costumes and then you let go of like all of your childhood. That could be very therapeutic. You know, you gather around with people, with all of your friends and loved ones, and you dress up in like your favorite childhood stuff, and you let go of all of the trauma, you let go of all of the fear, all of the stuff, all of the problems that you held on since you were a kid or that happened to you when you were a kid, and you just let it out through the sad music and the childness of dressing up in a costume of your favorite characters growing up. Maybe there could be something there, but I mean, I would never go to it. You know, I would definitely not do that. I'd rather hold in my problems and have fun on the outside, you know what I mean? So that's the kind of way I feel about it. I mean, and also, yeah, you also have to feel the vibe of the people in the space, right? So I think Halloween isn't I mean, you can't play like romance, you know, like the mushy gushy love songs. Like I guess if it's like the right kind, you know, I don't even know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is the music's got to be fire. The music's got to be really, really good. And if the music's good, then the party the flow of it will happen. You know, everything will be good. It's not. I've never seen. Have you ever watched like those? No. What am I trying to say? I've just never thought of Halloween as like sad or like a time to be depressed or to like listen to really painful and sad music. But then again, Halloween music tends to be a lot more creepy and a lot more in the minor key. So I would assume that because sad songs are also in the minor key, that it would be kind of depressing in a sense. But it doesn't have to be. I think of Halloween as more joyous, more fun, lighthearted. So at the end of the day, music's got to be fire. And do whatever you want, I guess. You know, if you want to cry during a Halloween party, be my guest. But I feel it just brings the mood down. I definitely don't want that. Another thing that is really good is scary movies. I love when a bunch of people gather together. Like, you all sit down and you're all just like, let's watch this scary movie together. And everybody's like, oh, please, I don't want to watch it. And then everybody else is like, let's watch it. Because to me, those are some of the best moments, is when you're in that crowd in your friend group and you're just like, and you turn the horror movie into a comedy. That's the only reason why I've been able to like watch scary movies or any kind of horror movies and just be like, this is so ridiculous. Why are the characters such idiots? Why does she fall down? It's not entertaining. It's not exciting at all. It just feels very, very weird. And so it's moments like that that really change my perspective on horror movies and like make fun of the genre, you know? Without it, I think I definitely would have a lot more nightmares, I think. Which is why I have a dream catcher. Dream catchers are cool. Dream catchers definitely work. I can't explain it. Like, I remember one time I had like some random nightmare. I think it was like about vampires or something. I can't really recall the entire plot line. All I know is that I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, what was that? You know, your heart just kind of like shocks you. It's just like, whoa, that is crazy. You know, you wake up and you're like, that was scary. What did I dream? Why was it so terrifying for me? Why did that happen? And then I got this dream catcher when I was like in middle school. And I had this nightmare and I never took it out of like the packaging. I never cared to. I was just like, whatever, you know, just to keep in storage, just to throw away, I guess. I didn't really care for it. I got in like, I was in middle school, probably like around 6th, 7th grade. And my bus driver, she was doing this raffle. So you would come onto the bus and she would pass out tickets. And this was like at the end of the year. This wasn't like an everyday occurrence. This was very rare and very weird. And she had like all of these prizes. And one of them was this blue-hearted dream catcher. And so I get on the bus and I'm like, I never win these raffle things. I don't really care, you know. So she passes out the tickets. Everybody gets on the bus. And then she starts, you know, I think it was either before or after we left. Or like maybe during the whole thing. She was just kind of like, hey guys, we got another raffle. We got another prize to give away. And then she would like shuffle all the things. And then she'd be like, ticket number 5, you won, you know, and you would get like a ball or something, you know, something to like one of those, those stress balls or whatever, you know, and then somebody else would get like a skeleton pencil set, or somebody else would get a slingshot. I don't know. Another person would get like a balloon set or whatever. And then she had this dream catcher. And then eventually she was like, all right, ticket number 70. You won the dream catcher. And I was like, that's me. I actually won it, you know? So I got up there, I grabbed the dream catcher, and I didn't think about it until I had that nightmare. And then I put it up on my wall, and then I went to sleep, and it was like the most peaceful, like one of the best sleeps ever. Everything just goes away. All of the fear from the night before, it just smoothed away. And I can't really remember another scary nightmare like that again, you know? All of my scary nightmares happen when I'm awake. It very rarely happens when I go to sleep. So shout out to dream catchers, man. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is when you're at a Halloween party, you put on a scary movie, laugh with all of your friends and make jokes, and you don't let it get to you. You don't let it mess with your mind. You don't go to sleep and be like, oh my gosh, now I'm afraid of ghosts and I'm afraid of monsters and the demon hiding under my bed. So like, I don't want to stick my feet out from under it, but I kind of do because it's a little hot, but I want my room to be cold, but I'm sweating bullets under here. Let me put my feet out a little bit, but then the demon will come and grab me. But, don't worry about that. Put up a dream catcher and everything will be okay. So watch scary movies with your friends. And I tell you, and you get some popcorn, you have some fun, and you just chill. It's one of the best parts about Halloween is having like that group together to make fun and to have fun on that. And Halloween, you ever watch those movies for like the movie Mean Girls, right? The movie Mean Girls, there's this, they celebrate Halloween. And that's what I used to think, that's what like Halloween was presented as, right? Everybody gathers around in one person's house from like your school or whatever, and you all dress up and you're all like, hey, Tiffany, oh my gosh, you dressed up as a sexy bunny or a sexy cat or a whatever, and you're just like, what is going on right now? And it's nothing like that. It is absolutely, well, I mean, I never experienced that. It was never like everybody gathered around in one person's home and it was like 200 people there. It was more of like you get a couple of your friends together, you hang out, you watch scary movies, you play music, you dance, you have fun, you do whatever, you play games and whatnot. And so it's so funny to watch those movies now and be like, what is going on here? Why is everybody like... I really like the aesthetic, though. I really like the idea of like everybody dressing up and then coming together and talking, dancing, having fun at the party and whatnot. I don't know why. That's kind of my idea of like a good Halloween party when there's like a bunch of people and they all like go all out for it. They all have fun. They all dress up for it. And nobody's like, this is so weird, or why is, everything so weird here? It's just kind of like, no, actually, this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be all kinds of fun like this. So I kind of had this idea when I was a kid of like, oh, this is how Halloween parties should be. It's like you dress up and then you drink some punch from their bowl and you do this, you do that. And it's like, then, drama happens and everybody's involved and whatnot. But it's actually very far from the case, at least from my experience. It's more of like you show up, you have a couple of laughs, you gather around with your friends, you watch scary movies, and you just enjoy the vibe. It truly is just a vibe to have everybody there celebrating this holiday, this tradition, only at this time of the year. You don't ever gather around and do this too often. I mean, I guess it depends on your friend group, right? If you guys are like, let's have another party or let's all get together again, and you guys do it multiple times. But then it's not really Halloween, right? It's not, you wait for this time of the year to do it. And that's what I like. That's what I think is so cool, is that it's this tradition that we've all made up here in America where it's like, we're all going to dress up. We're all going to come together and like in a spooky, whatever, dressing up, fun holiday way. And it's not weird. It's accepted. It's welcome. It's supposed to be this, And that's what matters, is that we accept it. We don't think it's like, why are you covered in blood? Usually you're like, why'd you dress... If you go to like a wedding, oh, that would be cool. Like a Halloween themed wedding. People who get married in October have to do that, right? Like they have to do it kind of like spooky themed. Otherwise, I think that's a waste of the month. That's a waste of like, that really is a waste. Think about it. If you get married in October or on Halloween especially, and you don't do it Halloween themed or like in some spooky sense or fashion, I feel like you're missing out on something. There's something there. There's something cool there. And everybody's dressed up in costumes and you're the only bride and the groom. And then that way everybody can have like if you have like a full weekend, everybody can dress up in costumes and it's a lot of fun. And then at night, maybe you can dress up in PJs and it's not weird. It's like, it's Halloween, it's cool. Everybody can dress up in something cool and different and fun, but they're not going to dress up in your bride's dress, They're not going to dress up in a suit or a tie necessarily. It's only you and the groom. So that way everybody gets to be individuals and wear something cool, but you also get to keep your own thing. You get to keep your own attire. Unless you really like the aesthetic of the groom and his groomsmen being all in suits and the bride and her bridesmaids all in dresses and everybody dressed up to the, dressed up completely formal, I guess. But I feel like that there is something cool about a wedding during October, during Halloween. It's definitely an idea. It's definitely very cool. I like that. It's a little different for like maybe Christmas December or like November. November is more of like fall. And I think that's like it's kind of like a whatever, Yes, there's a turkey there, but like you're not going to ask everybody to dress up in, as mashed potatoes or whatever. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's November, it's fall. It's the height of fall. And then December is winter. So I would never ask I wouldn't do like a Christmas themed wedding. I think that's weird. I just, what am I going to dress up as Santa Claus and my wife is going to dress up in in a red dress? No, it's not happening. And then my groomsmen are all elves. It's like, what are we doing here? It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. So I feel like Halloween is the only one that you could really do that theme with. And I think it's really cool. And also during a Halloween party, so back in you have to imagine, right? Before there was any kind of movies, when horror movies weren't around as often, the genre didn't exist. And before we all dressed up in costumes, before there was, Spotify and Apple Music and all this stuff, streaming services and CDs, before music was like that, Halloween parties were more centered around stories, spooky stories, tall tales, fables, or whatnot, right? And it was just about these scary stories to get people scared, to believe in myths and whatnot. So it'd be like little Jimmy was running towards the fountain when one day he approached this ghost, and the ghost cursed him for the rest of his life. And then he would tell that around a big fire. And everybody would be like, oh my gosh, that's so scary, Or the very classic, very, very traditional scary story. The last man on earth was in his room, and then there was a knock on his door. It's like, I probably messed that. It's such a simple story, but I probably messed that up. But you know what I'm saying is back in the day, all they had was stories or figure out ways to scare people. So it's really difficult to do that now. Have you ever told a scary story? There has to be some bit of truth to it, Which is why I think movies like the Blair Witch Project work so well. It felt like you were actually watching real footage. For a lot of people, they felt like, oh my gosh, this is actual real found footage. But it wasn't. It was just that was a part of the whole idea behind the movie, was that we're going to make it so that way it feels real. And it's going to be very low budget. And anybody could really make this movie, but we're going to do it ourselves in a different way, which is what's so cool about it. And it's very rare to find movies like that. And obviously there were copycats after and after and after trying to replicate it, but they never could. And that's what gives the first one such a heavy nostalgia and such a good sense of horror behind it. Because it was the first of its kind. So when you're telling a scary so if I were ever to do it, like, I feel like the coolest thing would to be like, you get a big fire going, and then you have everybody out there and you're like, all right, we all brought our scariest stories. We're going to see who can tell it the best. Because it's not about the story itself. We all know that the story is like maybe a little bit too dramatic or not real, but it's all in the delivery. So it's like, who can deliver the scary story the best? If you can deliver it the best, then you win. If you can't, you're going to get pushed off to the side. So it's all based on creativity. What kind of story you tell? Does it fit? And how you deliver it. Delivery is very, very important. I also had this idea for a Halloween party of solving like a murder mystery. So you know how like you can pay to get one of those crime files or whatever? Like you pay money to somebody and they'll send you case files, like fake case files, and you have to solve the mystery. You have to solve the murder or the crime or whatever, right? And I always wanted to do something like that. Just because I feel like I would be such a good detective. I'm so smart. I'm so brilliant. You know, how could I not? So I really like the idea of, you know, throwing this party, and then you plan this like huge thing, and everybody has to kind of figure it out. Everybody has to solve it. Like, who killed Jim at the at the crime scene at his house? Well, these are the people with the motive, but this is also another thing, and this is the footprint that was found at the scene, and this is blood, and it shows that they were punched and attacked and whatnot, you know? Stuff like that I think is really cool. I also really like true crime, like listening to true crime podcasts, and I'm always kind of like, if I were in this, like, how does the police deal with this? You know, what are the inside workings of the police, and how did the detectives figure it all out, you know? So I definitely want to be on that end. I definitely want to be the detective that solves the crime, that solves the murder mystery. And that's why I really like the show Only Murders in the Building, is because they give it that kind of like everyday kind of person experience where it's like they solve it for themselves, they figure it out, they learn about it, you know? And so I thought that would be really cool for a party, especially a Halloween themed party. Like any time during the month, it's just like, all right, guys, we all get together and we got to solve this. Who killed Jim? You know, we got to figure this out. And I have no idea if there's like big enough cases for that, right? Because like, it's usually just one detective solving it. You don't see, I mean, it could be like a Criminal Minds where you bring like a bunch of people together, like this team, to solve it. But for the most part, it feels like one person could solve the whole thing. I don't really know how these case files work, or like how you sign up, or like what the cases are, or how many people it would take. Like, does it work if multiple people are doing it? Does it work if nobody's doing, you know, is it one person only? Is it 2, 3? Are there requirements for it? But I guess that's why you can kind of make it yourself, right? So yeah, murder mysteries are always fun. They're always a good time, and they always like, it's kind of like Among Us, where it's like you don't know who the villain is. It could be anybody in the room, and I like it. I like that. I like that part where it's just like everybody's involved, and everybody's like, you're the bad guy. No, it's you. It's actually me. You know, I tricked you. I got you guys. And that's the whole fun of it. That's what's so good about it. And it's why Among Us is so popular. It's just like any of your friends could really backstab you. And for fun, obviously. For fun. Not in real life. That sucks. So when you're at a Halloween party, I suggest, maybe a murder mystery of some sort, or, maybe watching true crime documentaries, or I really like the BuzzFeed Unsolved. I really like watching that YouTube series. I think that's a lot of fun. It definitely makes me want to solve it. It's just like, man, I wish I was back there in the day when that was going on and figure it out for myself, or, try to be a part of that person's life so that way I could save them. I think that's what I kind of think about. And yeah, other than, I mean, you could also bring games. I mean, I was talking about this a little bit earlier, is like, you could play Clue. That's also like a whodunit kind of a thing, right? Clue. You could play video games. You could play Among Us. I was talking about. You could, I mean, beer pong is a legendary. Ping pong is also really fun. I mean, just some sort of game, some sort of activity that everybody can get in on. I would like, for the activity, as I talked about bobbing for apples and stuff, I would do charades of some sort, just something kind of fun like that. Musical chairs as well. Yeah, simple but fun stuff like that, Cool games. Definitely to get everybody happy and on your side, and like gets everybody involved. That way it doesn't feel like anything's dying down. It doesn't feel like anybody's like doesn't have something to do, because that's what I like about Halloween parties, is that like there's something you can do. There's something that you can have fun with, and that's costumes, snacks, music, dancing, games, movies, food and whatnot. All kinds of elements that keep people doing something else, Oh my gosh, we're watching a movie, but I really, really want some, I really want some cookies or whatnot, So you get up and you go over and you get them, and you miss the big jump scare right then and there. Or I want to play beer pong over here, but over there they're playing, they're playing blackjack or something, or they're playing speed or whatever, stuff like that. Or they're playing charades over there. I want to join. I want to get a clue. I want to try to guess what they're doing. Stuff like that. It really makes the mind. It makes it a lot more fun. When there's multiple things happening at once, and that's the key to any good party, is that you get a lot of things going. That way nobody feels like there's nothing to do, because that's really a bummer when that happens. So in conclusion, all in all right, when you're at a Halloween party, you gotta dress up, you gotta look good, all right? You can't underdo it, but if you underdo it, make it creative, make it like a creative underdoing. It has to be like a special theme to it, or like something that you really like, or that you could characterize yourself after. You know what I mean? If you can't make a character out of it, if you can't have fun with it, I feel like it's a waste of a costume. But maybe you're just not a costume person. But make yourself a costume person. Have fun. It's a lot more fun when you try and you do good, I feel. Bring something fire, bring something good, whether it's snacks, whether it's a game of some sort or an activity or whatever. Just bring something that really adds to the party quality as a whole. That way everybody has a good time and you have a good time, and it doesn't feel like anything's dragging down. Music. The music's got to be fire. The music is so important. Don't put on depressing music for a party. I just feel in my bones right now that if I were to put on sad music during a Halloween party, I would be like, what are we doing here? Why are we all crying to this music? Why do we all feel so sad? Maybe every now and then, if the song is like I said, the lyrics are sad, but the beat, the music itself is really upbeat. It's really, really danceable. watch movies together as a group, especially scary movies, horror movies, you can definitely turn them into comedies. That's what I love to do. I love to turn horror movies into comedies and to make jokes during the whole thing. I don't take them seriously at all. Shout out to Dreamcatchers. What else was there? You could do a bonfire as well. Get a big bonfire going outside in the backyard and try to tell spooky stories. You could also do sing songs. You could also sing along and do songs like that. And then you could play, there's murder mysteries as well. And finally, games. You could do a murder mystery. You could do board games, card games, video games, all kinds of stuff like that. Just something to get everybody happy and doing something. So those are my tips. Those are my ideas for Halloween parties and some other things that I've also done and that I enjoy doing. I like doing all of these things. I like dressing up for Halloween in a silly costume. I like dancing to music. I like playing games. I like watching scary movies. I like bringing good snacks and whatnot. And I feel like those are keys to any party, but other times it's just kind of like it doesn't fit the theme, is all I'm trying to say, for the spooky season. So anyways, that's what you do when you're at a Halloween party. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the When Your Podcast. I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.